So I want to shift
Yeah.
a little bit of gears because this is another intentional reason that I had you on the show. And for those who are watching with us live, you know that I'm never live on Friday. Friday is like a me day, connected to like, I don't have anyone on my calendar and I don't do anything other than internal stuff for the business that I couldn't get done all week because people are like, hey, can I borrow you? Hey, can I pick your brain? Hey, you email me back immediately? So, Justin, you have taken a beautiful time of my week, but with intention and one that I am really passionate about, which is why you're here. And it's connected to faith-driven entrepreneurship. It's connected to really understanding how do we leave a legacy. And this particular group, which we refer to as marketplace ministers, and really cultivating them. And you are hosting the Improver Summit in just a couple of weeks in Dallas.
Yes.
Okay,
In
so
South
tell us
Lake, which is
more.
just about 10 minutes from the DFW airport.
Okay.
And part of it is that we've been talking a lot on this call about purpose and about how God's got a plan for you, and you need to not just react to the world's way of directing you in life, but you need to seek out His plan. And part of that plan, we believe, is that you've got greatness that's just bottled up in there, and not just like one little dose of greatness that you could pour out, but like an unending amount of greatness that He's put in you that needs to be shared with the world. Your family needs you to walk in greatness. Your community, your teams need you to walk in greatness. And greatness looks different for different people, but we just know you've got it in there. But there are things that hold that back, that keep it leashed, that keep it chained. And so we're having this conference to get rid of some of those limiting beliefs, get rid of some of those barriers to walking the life that God intended you to live. So we're bringing in people like I mentioned, Jeremy Kubicek. He's going to be coming in and talking about practical leadership tools that will help you and your team on your leadership and growth journey. We have Christy Wright coming in. If you guys don't know Christy, she is fire. She was on Dave Ramsey's team as one of his personalities. It used to be Dave for the longest time. Then he hired on Chris Hogan and Christy Wright. She is a public speaker, travels the country. She's amazing. Of course, we mentioned Ramon. He's going to just light up the stage and be fire. You mentioned legacy earlier. One of my good friends, Kyle Gaphart, with the Bluegrass Legacy Group, will be there talking. He wrote a book called Legends Don't Retire. And so, it's just, he's going to really be talking about, you weren't just called to live a life where you work and then go into retirement and collect seashells on the shore and play golf. Like, God's got bigger stuff for you. Leave a legacy. Kyle Draper is going to come in and talk about being your authentic self online and offline. And he's a social media guy. And how do you present the genuine you instead of trying to put this front on? And we got Judy Gammon, who runs an executive medicine group. She's going to talk about health, wellness, anxiety for busy executives. Last two here, Dr. Zoe Shaw is a licensed therapist in Los Angeles, and she does therapy from a biblical worldview. And she's going to talk about dysfunctional personality traits of leaders and how it affects the relationships around you. So that's amazing. And then Dr. Craig Etheridge will be with us. He's got a network called the Cross Creek Network that's making a global impact. And he's really going to talk about vision and how do you connect all these people and resources and allow God to move in and through you and your networks and your vision. Wow. So, I mean, and that's just scraping the surface. Yeah. We got oil and gas, health and wellness. We got marketing and advertising breakouts. It's going to be an amazing event.
Really awesome. And this is your first one?
This is our first big one. We did one last year called Legacy Summit, and we kind of put our little toe in the water. But this one's like the first multi-day hotel, bringing in all this stuff, hiring this.
Yeah, I know. As a fellow conference host, I like all of my heart just is literally on a platter for you right now, so that we can be together, because I know what it's like, especially the 2 weeks. Right, 2 weeks before is what this live show is happening. You guys are going to hear it on the show on Tuesday of next week. So you still have time to get your tickets right now. It's not too late. We're going to blast this out. It is so important to me that people understand, one, that I love it personally. I'm just going to be selfish, that I'm not the only one that recognizes the need, the stark need to really help support this genre of person. These people who are going out and doing the true ministry work. They're in the marketplace every single day. If you study Jesus, he did his ministry. All the miracles, they happened in the marketplace. It wasn't something that happened inside of the four walls of the church. And so you are doing ministry. And I know the Lord is saying, well done, my good and faithful servant. And he will continue as you continue to improve. But it's first off selfish because I am just really grateful I'm not the only crazy person out there trying to tackle it. And secondly, it's because my community, you guys are founders. You guys are innovators. You're trailblazers. You're people who need to have this sense of improvement, but you have to do it from the lens of how Justin is stacking it. It's honestly so similar to the FounderCon in the sense that I want there to be mental health conversations, and there will be. We have a lot of mental health therapists coming and people who are specialized in that. You also have to know systems, right? It's not something we can just like live over here like, oh, yay, everything's smooth sailing over here. No, the avoidance of drift is because we have systems in place, right? We understand what the track and what the road looks like. We understand boundaries. We understand what we need to put into play. And these people are excellent at teaching that. And so I really hope that you understand that this is something. I'm on the East Coast. So if you're an East Coast girl and you're a guy and you're like, I can't get out to the West Coast, for some bizarre reason, you have no excuse because there's something happening on the West Coast and there's something happening on the East Coast in a matter of a 6-week time frame. And to me, that is revelatory that God has positioned people across the United States, across the breadth of the United States of America, to talk about something that is important on his heart. Because this isn't me and Justin sitting around like, where's the void in the market? No, that's not how this works. God is like, this is the void in the market. This is why I've shaped you to be who you are. And this is your call. Ready, set, go. And we're sitting over here like, no, please. Please no. This is hard. I told you every day is not peachy keen, y'all. And when we get to be conference hosts, we get to stand center stage and the crowd roars and there's all this fun stuff, lights, camera, action. And you forget what happens in the shadows. And so this conversation is to be raw and real and let you know where Justin is even mentally right now as he's prepping for something great. Because I know that there are a lot of people listening who are prepping for the great. They're prepping for the thing that God has called them to. Maybe you haven't landed the actual TEDx stage, but you're prepping for it. Maybe your book is about to release and you don't even know what's about to happen to your life. Maybe you want to be a speaker or you want to be a podcaster and you have 3 episodes, not 500 like we do, right? Like you're in that place where it's about to happen. There's a precipice. Specifically, there's a threshold because this is the time of year where the threshold of Rosh Hashanah, the threshold of the feast, if you know anything about the Hebrew calendar, this is a threshold that's about to be crossed this season. And I'm excited to do it with you, brother.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I want to just encourage everybody watching or listening that it's not even just the U.S. This week, I have been sitting beside people from Nairobi, Kenya, from Norway, from Cambodia, and from London. And like God is moving it on all the continents. And primarily what we're seeing is he's moving through the marketplace and he's moving through leaders. I'm convinced now more than ever that the next generation and the next big outpouring of the gospel is going to happen through relationships, through leaders in the marketplace. And so if you want to know, like, well, where is God leading me? I don't know all the specifics, but I can tell you he's calling you to serve people in some way in the marketplace, to meet needs. He's calling you to step up and lead in the way he's called you to. And he's calling you to serve on that. He's calling you to go out and do that. And so that's what we're trying to equip people to do to grow personally and professionally. And for your conference and mine, I want to just kind of talk about this little idea of like motivational, because you mentioned Ziegler earlier. So Zig was cornered after one of his big conference events. And one of these guys said, you know, Zig, the problem with these kind of conferences is they're just motivational and just motivation doesn't last. And Zig said, yeah, brother. He said, we see motivation kind of like bathing. You should do it often.
That's good.
It was so good. And what I want to tell you is like, you go, well, is this really worth it? Am I going to be thinking about it 6 months from now? What I'll tell you is this is kind of like eating healthy food. You need it for your nourishment personally and professionally to attend these things like FounderCon and Improver Summit. So do yourself a favor, grow your health, add life by attending these things.